Hey guys, this is Courtney from the AstroBiz podcast, where we talk about business, astrology, spirituality, and all things woo. Each week, I interview incredible business owners, give you guys astrological updates that are channeled from the heavens, and I also give you guys insights about anything you need to know about spirituality topics. Please don't forget to leave a review if you like these episodes. You guys can always find me under Willow's Bloom on Instagram, YouTube, and on willowsbloom.com. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey guys, it's Courtney back for another podcast to discuss the astrological and intuitive energy that I'm channeling for July. And there's so much that I want to cover. This is going to be a really big month, a really big transition period for us where we're shifting into action, momentum, energy, but there's a lot that we need to keep in mind during this time. So I'm really excited to dive into this episode, and let's get started. So one of the most important aspects that I want to start off with astrologically is the full moon happening in Capricorn on July 4th and 5th, and it's a penumbral eclipse. So we are experiencing the final eclipse happening from the Capricorn Cancer nodal axis that we've been experiencing for the last 18 months. And so what I mean by that is for the last 18 months, we've had the North Node of Destiny in the sign of Cancer and the South Node of past karma and things to let go of in Capricorn. And so when we have our final full moon eclipse in Capricorn, we're really going to be lighting up all of the things that we're trying to leave behind, all of the structures that are no longer working, all of the old ways of thinking that are no longer functioning in society. And so this is our point where we're trying to illuminate the dead, the things that are no longer living, the things that are no longer working, and then move into the life, the things that are new, the things that are emerging. And so a really big thing with this is going to be releasing control, because Saturn, Capricorn, all of these energies are really around control, authority, structures, the way things should be. And we're meant to be moving away from that into the North Node of Cancer for the last 18 months. So we're meant to move into our own intrinsic values, what feels good inside of us and our heart and our soul, what feels good for humanity and the nurturing of our own well-being. And so when we are confronted with this full moon eclipse, we're going to be feeling maybe those last little bits of resistance to what's going on, where we might want things to be different. We might want them to go back to an old way. We might want to control the situation. That's just not how life works. Right now, we're supposed to be stepping into a new heart-aligned path. And this means that we're going to have to leave behind the path that once was. And the people who try to go back on the old path are quickly going to realize through lots of struggling and resistance that that old path is no longer there. And I'm sure that we can all agree after COVID and everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, there is no old way of living that we're returning to. We are creating a new way of living. And the more that you resist stepping onto a new path and letting go of the old, the more that you're going to struggle this month, because this month is really about putting one foot in front of the other and starting to see action and momentum move us forward. June was really about that in-between transition period where we were kind of like stuck in the reminiscing period and finishing up the last cycle, and then a little bit in the new, concentrating on what's to come. But July is really about forward movement. And that's because Mars is moving into Aries on June 27th. So that's when we're going to start to see that shift. Mars is the planet of action, motivation, and drive. It's really what gets us up in the morning and gets us going. And it's been in Pisces, which is the very last sign of the zodiac, which is about release, letting go, and really synthesizing all of the past experiences that we've had and assimilating them into our being. And so that was a very reflective time where we're probably putting things in place and realizing things that we need to let go of. And now that Mars is entering Aries, it's about taking action on all those things that we have lined up. And so if you're starting to take action on an old path, you're going to find that life just keeps hitting you in the face. And that's because you're resisting the natural flow of life. There is a current of life if you imagine a river. And if you're trying to get back onto a different part of the river, you're walking upstream. And the river is just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you just let go and see where it takes you. And this is really hard because so much of us have been living in that Capricorn masculine energy of control, where we want to see where things go. We want to direct it. We want to have a plan before we even take a step forward. And that's really not what this is about. A lot of this energy is about taking action and then surrendering to the process, surrendering to how that takes place in the form. And when we take action, it really has to be from that heart center. And that's because, first of all, the last 18 months have been about Cancer and the North Node in Cancer. And then second of all, we're going to be having the sun move into Leo on July 22nd. And Leo is the most heart-centered sign that there is. So this time is really about operating from the heart, doing things that make us passionate and taking action towards those things and not trying to force ourselves into an old way of being. And I have an analogy for this that really came to mind when I was thinking of trying to force things into how they used to be. I was imagining a person unboxing a mattress pad because I've done this before. And if you've ever seen this before, they're really rolled up super tight because they take out all of the air and shove it into this little vacuum packed container and put it in a box. And I wanted to return a mattress pad like this once. And I took it out of the box and then I tried for so long to try to squeeze it back into the sleeve, into the container and put it back into the box. But it just wouldn't work. I was sitting there struggling and struggling for no reason because it was never going to fit in. And that's basically what's happening right now is a lot of people I intuitively feel are going to be trying to go back to the old way of life, are going to be trying to fold the mattress pad up into this little ball and put it back into the box. But the thing is, the mattress pad has expanded. It's expanded its consciousness, just like most of the earth is doing right now. We are expanding our consciousness on a massive scale, and trying to fit that back into an old box is very limiting, and it's also impossible. You can't devolve. Right? And right now we're in the phase of evolving our consciousness and our life purpose. So we have to move forward from the heart. We have to throw away the box and just use the mattress pad as it is. This is our time to really break free from all of the old paradigms. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy process. I pulled some cards for today, and one of them was the Tower and the Eight of Water. And these cards are really about a crumbling of the old structure, a crumbling of what our life used to look like. And for a lot of you out there, you might have experienced a total destruction of your life, and it might feel really negative right now. It might feel like you lost your job, you have to move, you lost a relationship, and you don't know what's ahead for you. And I just want to say, follow your joy and follow your heart this month, because I see so many positive things coming and so many blessings coming. I know it's been a really challenging and dark time, but this month is where it all turns around. And it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's going to be so powerful for your life. So the Tower is that crumbling of what was, and the Eight of Water is kind of like asking you to leave behind what isn't working and step onto a new path that maybe you didn't see yourself on. Maybe it's not what you would naturally gravitate towards or what society has kind of laid out for you, like what's expected of you. You're taking a new path and you're doing something totally different for yourself, and is going to lead to so much magic. And that's because I pulled the Magician card next, which is all about manifesting the life of our dreams. So it's not until we let go of the old that the new can come in, right? I use this an analogy in one of the last podcasts where the plant will continue to try to give nutrients to the dead limbs unless you cut them off. And then it's harder for new ones to grow because it's being dispersed to all the dead ones. And so that's what this month is. We have to fully let go of what we expected and what we thought our life would be like, let go of the control, and allow the universe to work its magic and to help us manifest the life of our dreams. And we can work with the universe to co-create this by stepping into our heart center, our heart chakra, and doing everything that brings us joy, making decisions out of joy and love and not fear or overly reliant on your logic. And I see this working out really, really well for us, you guys. I pulled 2 other cards, the 4 of fire and the 9 of water. The 4 of fire is really about creativity, a totally new phase in life, celebration, pleasure, and harmony in relationships. So I see us coming together in union. And obviously, this might differ on the collective level, but I feel like in our personal lives, we're going to feel just happier and closer with people and coming together to support one another's dreams and creative self-expression. Especially with the sun moving into Leo, which is about your creative self-expression. This is our time to follow what feels good, to follow what feels like it's allowing us to express our soul. And that is going to ultimately lead us to the 9 of water, which is about total emotional fulfillment, getting abundance, getting our heart's desires. And if you've been wavering, if you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing right now, get grounded. Get grounded, because I pulled a card that says get grounded. And yes, to me, this means yes, follow your dreams. Yes, make that move. Yes, go for that job. Yes, take that step towards change. But even in the action, we need to remain grounded. We need to still remain in this sort of phase where we are receptive, intuitive, and tapping into our feminine energy and our soul. So it's a nice balance this month where we're going to be taking action with Mars and Aries, and then also grounding ourselves down into the present moment, down into the feminine energy of receiving. And this is really important because I feel like we had a lot of this during quarantine. We had a lot of isolation, a lot of time to check in with our souls, a lot of time to see what we really want, to be totally in touch with who we are, and to receive messages. And the message that I'm getting for us as a collective is that we're still meant to keep this energy of tapping into our higher selves while taking action, while putting things into motion. And that can be sometimes challenging. So we need to really remain focused on our ability to have balance, even when we're still moving things forward. We still need to have time out, even when we're taking action on a day-to-day basis. And I just feel like this is going to be a really, really abundant time. I pulled an animal spirit card for us, and I got the owl, which is about abundance, clairvoyance, and treasures. And so really, this is about trusting that the treasure will come through for you, that the abundance is waiting for you on the other side of that leap, on the other side of that tower crumbling. And so this might feel really scary. It might feel really scary to say yes to your dreams, to go after them, to leave behind the land that you used to know, to jump out of the tower that's crumbling. That's a scary experience. And on a personal level, I am experiencing this as well. I'm currently living in Orlando, and I had a breakup like a month or 2 ago. And I just decided I'm going to pack up my car and go out to Colorado to visit my brother and not come back. And I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm trusting. I'm really tapping into this owl energy that whatever is meant to find me there will find me there, and that the next breadcrumb will appear on my path. And I just believe that so strongly in my core. And that's why I'm able to step out and have faith and take action, because I know I will be supported after I take that leap of faith. And this owl card is saying that you will be supported both in a spiritual and material form. You will find the monetary abundance that you need right now in order to succeed. You will find the spiritual strength that you need right now in order to move forward. But you have to trust, you have to follow your dreams, and it will ultimately lead you to that fulfillment. So if you find this month that you are resisting, if you find this month that you're trying to move into something that you used to be, I want you to really take a step back and assess why you're doing that. Is this coming from a place of fear? Are you trying to control your life and your situation because you're scared of an unknown outcome? I totally get that. I think all of us are controlling in a lot of ways over our lives. And I think this is the month where that is not going to work anymore. And I think it did work in the past to a certain extent. We felt like we had control, but honestly, it was an illusion. And now the veil has dropped. It has become clear that we have never had control. And the only things that we have control over are ourselves, are our own actions. And this month is about really diving into them and directing our lives to where we want it to go internally, but surrendering to the form, surrendering to the process. And I just wanted to read a quote from a book. I felt really called to pick up this book, but it's called Loving Kindness and by Sharon Salzberg. And I just flipped to a page and immediately was drawn to this passage that I felt like was in line with the delusion of control and becoming rigid and narrow-minded. And so I want to read this to you guys, and I hope it resonates with you too. Our vision becomes very narrow when we need things to be a certain way and cannot accept things the way they actually are. Denial functions almost as a kind of narcotic, so that vital parts of our lives end up missing. It is fear of pain that provokes and sustains a splitting off of parts of ourselves. To avoid feeling pain, we shut out crucial portions of awareness, even though this closing off, this internal separation, is deadening. Sometimes as individuals or as members of a group, we may sacrifice the truth in order to secure our identity or preserve a sense of belonging. Anything that threatens this gives rise to fear and anxiety, so we deny and we cut off our feelings. The end result of this pattern is dehumanization. We become split from our own lives and feel great distance from other living beings as well. As we lose touch with our inner life, we become dependent on the shifting winds of external change for a sense of who we are, what we care about, and what we value. The fear of pain that we tried to escape becomes, in fact, our constant companion. And I'm not sure if you guys fully grasp that, but a lot of that is so pertinent to what we're going through right now as a society. We're being asked to check in with our internal world. And a lot about what this is saying is that when we try to control things, or when we try to fit into a box, when we try to deny who we are inside to fit a box, to fit in, to belong to society, we literally kill off parts of ourselves. And it's funny because it says, as we lose touch with our inner life, we become dependent on the shifting winds of external change. And what this is saying is we deny the things that are happening. We deny how we feel inside. We deny the steps that we want to take, and we try to hold ourselves back. When you do that, you're attaching your self-worth, your identity, and your whole life to things outside of you because you're denying who you are inside. And so as we move forward in July, we are supposed to remain grounded. We're supposed to remain super connected to who we are and make changes based off of that internal world, and not try to fit into a box, not try to fit into a narrow way of thinking and being, because that is what creates dehumanization. And right now, that's the process that our whole collective, our whole society is moving out of. That Capricorn energy is, you will be this way. We are uniform. We are a structure. We are a system that works together. But Cancer is about the home. It's about the individual. And we're about to move into the age of Aquarius, with Saturn moving into Aquarius in 2021, where we're going to feel very much about each individual person being different, being unique. So this is the energy that we're moving into, and it's a rough transition to move from this Capricornian energy to Aquarian energy, where it goes from everyone operating under one system, one rule, one way of being as a standard, to Aquarian energy where everyone can do their own thing and things can still work if we care about one another. And so right now in July, this is actually a really big moment for us to take those first steps out of the incubation, out of this COVID time, where we've really tapped into what makes us unique, what makes us individual, what makes us want what we want, and then go out and create that in the world, moving us into the age of Aquarius, where everyone is their own unique person. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. July, I feel like, is a really big month, and I don't think we realize how big it is. And I don't think we will realize how big it is until we get to maybe 2021 and we realize this is the month that our lives changed. And sometimes you can only realize that really in retrospect. So I want you guys to make sure that you are grounding, that you are stepping into your energy, that you are very connected with your soul, because the decisions and the choices you make now will manifest your future reality. And there are going to be huge ramifications of this. We are ending a 35-year cycle and beginning a new one. The choices that we make now will influence the next 35-year cycle, astrologically speaking. And so I want you guys to really, really be mindful and be in tune to the messages, to the channel messages that come from the universe, because there's so much ahead. And I hope that the direction that you go in makes you feel fulfilled. And thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that this was helpful. I know it might have been like a little bit scattered, but there's just so much information that I wanted to give to you guys. So go out, enjoy your July, enjoy this new energy, feeling a little bit action oriented with Mars finally moving into Aries and things finally moving forward in your life. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned to that episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this. Also, don't forget to check out willowsbloom.com to book an astrology reading or to join my business astrology course. I can't wait to see you guys there. Have a great one. Bye.